Hello Leo, this is Victoria from Mindful Bamboo and I'm here with your May Tarot forecast. As always, we'll be looking at your love life, your career space, and we'll get you guidance from the universe on how to best utilize the energy of the month of May. At the end, I will also pull some messages from a person of interest to yourself, so stick around. And of course, for those who are new, a reminder that these readings are for Sun, Moon, and Rising Leo. So if you're checking this for your sun sign, please check out videos for your other placements too. And of course, if you enjoy what I'm doing, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment. Let me know where you're from and what you liked. With all that said, we'll start with a quick oracle message. I got a new deck now. Got it recently for my birthday from someone, and this is called Cosmic Dancer Oracle. So we'll get you a card before we dive into tarot. And of course, you can check out the description box for more information on my services, my content, ways to get in touch. There's actually a very handy way to book a free discovery session for me. You can just go to my website, mindfulbamboo.com, and there's a button right on the home page where you can book a specific time slot that you'd like, and we can take it from there. Because apart from tarot readings, I also do life coaching. All right, Leo, you got number 7. Celebrate growth and breakthroughs. I feel like this is very much your energy, and you'd be great at this. I'm getting this is a reminder of who you are, and if somebody's trying to make you feel bad about the celebration part, then this is your reminder that this is your energy, this is who you are, and you should be unapologetically you. And if you want to celebrate growth and breakthroughs of your loved ones, then by all means do that as well. You know, sometimes we actually undermine what we do, or either our successes or the challenges that we've gone through, right? We kind of like downplay those because either we've been brought up in a way where we're not supposed to draw too much attention, we're supposed to stay humble. Or, you know, somebody was always jealous, we saw that dynamic, and we're trying to kind of hide our light. But this is how it's supposed to be. All right, let's see what we have as tarot here. For a love life and personal space, you have 8 of Wands, the Devil, this is Capricorn, you could be dealing with a Capricorn, and 5 of Cups. For your workspace, you have Page of Swords, 6 of Pentacles, and the Emperor. This is Aries energy. Could be dealing with an Aries. And then the advice, 5 of Swords, another 5. 6 of Cups. And Knight of Pentacles. So you may need to slow down a little bit. That's what I'm getting generally. You know, even Ace of Swords in this deck is like closing your eyes and, you know, finding that inner peace, going into a meditation practice. You know, it's more about the inner than the outer right now. Even if you're used to like work on your presentation, on the way you speak, the way you look, you know, this is the time to look within. Look what really matters, especially if you've been actually hiding that because you were trying to portray a certain image, to present yourself a certain way, right? And maybe you didn't want to show your sad parts or angry parts, right? And now it's time, it's like, you know, the clock is ticking and it's time to face that, to deal with those difficult emotions. So you have 8 of Wands, the Devil, and 5 of Cups in your personal space and relationship. I don't really see much in relationship space here, but it is about your personal well-being, and it by all means will impact all of your relationships, whether we want that or not. Right? So definitely some tension here, some tough energy where you may be speaking out of turn, or you may want to project your inner pain onto someone, not necessarily want to, but that may happen actually. So definitely face whatever that loss is for you, whatever the grieving process. If there is some kind of closure or loss or ending that you're having a hard time dealing with, right? And it feels like maybe even somebody told you that it's okay to kind of like go through it, and you need to process it, you need to accept where you are. But it's important to kind of feel the feelings, but it's also important not to linger in those unhealthy feelings too much, or not to get new bad habits that would be coping mechanisms with stuff that lives underneath. If this is not a recent situation, it could be something old that just coming to the surface and reminding you that there's still some pain there that needs your attention, that needs some love and compassion from you. Then for your workspace, we see Page of Swords, Six of Pentacles, and the Emperor. It's like growing into a leadership position, but you're realizing on the way that there is much more to it than you thought, right? Like maybe you've been eyeing that post of your boss, or just maybe a senior specialist, more senior than you, and there's a vacancy now, and you're like, oh, this is my chance, I've been born to do that job, that kind of thing. But then either while you're reading through the job description, or maybe you actually were given that shot and you're starting to work in this new role, you realize that there's a lot more there, right? So there may be a learning curve, but don't be afraid. You have the potential. It's more about like the energy flow with the Six of Pentacles. It's important that it kind of flows naturally, that there is exchange, that you receive feedback, that you are also bringing value and you can see it, right? That your colleagues are supportive of you, and it doesn't happen by default. You can ask for that, maybe your boss or whoever could be, maybe your mentor. At least this is also a mentor card. Your mentor, at least for a little while, for you to pick up all the ins and outs of this new job. But definitely an exciting opportunity, and you got this. That's the main message for you there, Leo. All right, the advice. We see Six of Cups, Five of Swords, and Knight of Pentacles. This is the part where it's about slowing down. It's about not driving yourself crazy with everything that's going on around, or maybe with some past situations that are coming up now that you're reminiscing about. Like in that example that we saw with the work, for example, you're stepping into this new, more ambitious role that's more senior, or about leadership, right? And some kind of old childhood trauma can come up because maybe someone talked you out of it at some point, or somehow showing up as a leader, as a center of attention, was received as something negative, right? And now, even though those things, if you logically look at them, they're not connected, but your subconscious could still be connecting them. So tread carefully, tread lightly. There is no rush here. You're, playing long game. But be mindful of what you're experiencing emotionally and look at those things, right? It doesn't mean that that will indicate that you're on the wrong path. You shouldn't do what you're doing. It's more like you have a chance to do it consciously this time. And whatever wasn't healed the last time, or maybe was never looked at, you're now ready to look at it and handle it in a constructive way, in a healthy way. So you can actually grow from there. You can feel that liberating energy. So it doesn't give you migraines. Some of you might actually experience migraines, who knows? All right. Let's get you some messages from the person of interest. What does Leo need to know from that person of interest? All right, we have Seven of Swords and Six of Swords. And two more cards. Wow, Major Arcana, Wheel of Fortune, and the Hermit. So you're either going through some quite intense healing, or you're helping somebody else in your life heal, right? It's definitely fated, it's definitely the way it's supposed to be, but it's kind of ugly, you know, especially with all these swords here. It's like, you know, you need to be very careful with how you handle swords, especially if you're carrying them like this, like in the positions that these cards are in, right? And somebody's bound to get hurt. And yeah, swords represent thoughts, so it's kind of in your head, you can deal with it. Your person could be the one who is struggling, and they may need your help to help them heal. But also, this is a moment for you to do a self-check, Leo, and understand whether you are in a position, whether you're wholesome enough and grounded enough to be able to help your person out, or you need to help yourself first. You know how they say about the airplane, and you know, if you are in a situation where you need to put on oxygen mask, you need to put it on yourself first and then help your kid, or you know, whoever is traveling with you if they need help. This is that situation, so be careful. Don't throw yourself at the mercy of your partner asking for help, or you see that they need help, because in this situation I don't really see them asking. It's more like maybe they're actually quite proud and they don't ask, you know, but you see that there's struggle there and you want to help. Your person actually prefers to deal with it on their own in this case. Maybe because there is some ugly stuff there. For some of them, there is something ugly that they don't want you to know. It's like, I don't want them to see this side of me, you know, I'd rather deal with it somehow by myself. So up to you of how you want to see this, Leo, and how much you feel like you can and should get involved. At the very least, you can offer your help, and then if your person says no, then you know it's a real no, and you know, you leave them be and you give them space and you take your space, because you still have your stuff to process and to deal with. Even if it's from many years ago, you know, this is the time to look at it, see what it means with this new eyes, you know, and you can probably even remember with certain childhood memories or stories that you're telling, like every few years, you're probably telling a little bit different story, right? Most likely, because that's how our brain and our memory work, that, you know, with time, we kind of like see versions of story, and there's some things get lost from our memory, so it becomes almost like a new story. But also your consciousness changes and you can assess that situation differently now, right? And a lot of times that's what's needed to heal those moments, that trauma, especially from childhood. Because as a child, your consciousness, your brain was very differently in position than, you know, as you are now as an adult. And that changes everything. It may seem like, but it's the same person and it already happened, but yes, it's important. The way we frame the reality, the way we tell a story, the way we relate to the story is what is actually building the energy around it. And it's up to you to choose what kind of story you want to tell. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here, Leo. I hope this was useful to you guys. If so, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time.